good as well. So everything so far has been, really good.
Did all members of the team and any other essential staff and personnel, did everyone travel as planned, or did anyone get left behind?
Everyone traveled. The only two guys that were left behind were Gutierrez and Fontas, only because they're unable to still play based on injury. Felipe, is out for the year. Andreu is still recovering, and it just didn't make sense because of all the logistics that we have down here. He would have gotten a lot better, not only attention and treatment, but flexibility being there, working with our people that we still have there as well. So they're the only two. Everybody else, entire delegation came down, and we had our testing yesterday. We're in quarantine, and I came much earlier than I expected. I think it was before 8 o'clock this morning. We were given the all clear. Everybody was negative.
Hey, Peter, have you had any interaction with any of the other teams in the short time you've been down there? And if so, like, kind of what are those conversations like, kind of getting anything you've heard, heat of advice maybe to what to do down there in the bubble?
I actually have this morning, I did a tour around the facility and saw quite a few people from different teams, obviously former players here as well, people that I've worked with, whatever. And I haven't heard anything negative at all. Everybody's been very positive. Everybody has stated that the food's been great. There's a coffee shop downstairs. There's just a lot of different things that are available to you here. Checked out all of our meeting rooms, our high performance center for working out. And then, later on tonight, we'll go for our first training at the field. Outside, I really haven't heard any negatives yet from anyone.
Peter, I know you've talked about these guys getting excited to actually play some games. Now that you've arrived in Orlando, have you seen kind of a difference in their kind of like excitement level or disposition about getting a step closer to actually getting back on the field?
I think everybody was looking forward to getting down here because it just meant that we were getting that much closer to playing games. I also think that we're also getting to the point where we wanted to make sure we got down here because the guys had worked so hard. We wanted to do everything we could to, eliminate the chance of somebody being positive. But the guys did a great job in Kansas City, being very disciplined. And again, they've worked really hard, so didn't want to in any way, shape, or form risk that. So that was part of it. Tonight, I think we'll see it once we step on the field down here, because we're gonna have to take a bus over to the facility, and it'll be more of a real kind of game like preparation that we go through when we're on the road. So I think we'll see a little bit more of it tonight.
What will your training be like this week leading up to Sunday's game for you guys?
Oh, we train tonight. Tonight's like probably is a hybrid of a regen and a training session. We'll actually take off tomorrow, and then we'll do a 4-day build-up with Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday leading up to Sunday's match. So we'll train those 4 days prior to the game. And, all of our trainings are in the morning, which is, same as our schedule at home. And so, I think the guys will be kind of right in line with in our normal rhythm of what we do before other games.
Peter, what does your schedule look like? You said you have training in the mornings. Are you in fitness centers in the afternoon, or is it just you take the afternoon off? What's the plan up to the first game?
No, a couple days this week as well. We'll do weights. Again, our rhythm here will be the same as we do when we're in Kansas City. So, we have access to all those things, but we won't use them with the team every single day. But we'll run it like a normal work week. It's basically 4 days leading up. 2 of those days will be lifting, and the other days will just be training.
And how long are you given time-wise on the field before you have to get off and let the next team on?
So in each of the areas, we have 2-hour time slots on the field. In the high performance center, we have 2 hours. There's a time prior to the field that you get a chance to go and set up. So it's more than enough time to get done what we need to get done.
What about like downtime? If there is any downtime, but like, how do you kind of keep these guys where they're at? I mean, what are the regulations that you kind of keeping everyone safe? And I know these guys are probably, just want to get out and feel like something, feel something else. But I mean, as far as keeping them under wraps.
Yeah. So obviously we have 2 hotels that we've taken over. MLS has taken over for all the teams. I believe it is 18 teams are in the Dolphin and 6 are in the Swan or something like that. But we're completely separated because we're on separate wings. So I think it's us in Nashville in the same floor. And so we're on one wing and they're on the other, and we're separated. We have our own access to our own elevators. They do as well. So we don't mingle with anyone. Can everybody put the on mute, please, because it's an echo. And then the other side is they on all of our floors we have they have game rooms, they have places to play poker. A lot of guys brought their own stuff to keep them kind of in check. There's a lot. I mean, I went out this morning and walked around. There's a lot of different stuff out there. There's more than I don't know. It's probably like 5, 6, 7 pools. Like I said, there's coffee shop downstairs. There's different things like that. But I think all the guys have been pretty intelligent in that they brought down with them different things that they could also play, PlayStations and all those other things that they have. So I think they'll be fine. I think that's, when we're on the road and we go in for like on a Friday to play on a Saturday and leave on a Sunday, in that regard, it's pretty similar because it's not like guys are going out into town because we got a game the next day. So it's usually in and out. This is now, we're just kind of spending a little more time here, and there will be very really limited interaction with the opposition, any of the teams, other than when we see them kind of in the common areas. But it's not like our guys will go over to another guy's hotel room and hang out with them, because that's something that we've everybody has safeguarded against, because it's an easy way to cross-contaminate team to team.
Peter, how much did the heat and humidity of Kansas City in the last week help you get acclimated to what you're experiencing down there in Florida?
The humidity was actually pretty good. It helped us a little bit, I think. There were some days it was really hot, and obviously some days that it wasn't. But I think we got a good dose of it to get some acclimation. But I've lived here in Florida and played here in Florida 1 year of my career, and there's nothing like coming here and training and playing. And so this week leading in will be good for us to kind of just get get used to it, because it is different. But as much as it's different for us, it's going to be different for the other teams as well.
Coach, the forecast is showing quite a few thunderstorms throughout the week down in Orlando. How does that change anything with the preparation process, game day, anything? Is the weather any concern?
It's really good if it stays overcast the whole time, but it's not good if it's sunny and then it showers like that and then it gets sunny again, because then it's just like it's like a Turkish bath. It's a steam bath. So I'm hoping that it stays overcast most of the time, and we get through the lightning and thunder. Hopefully that's not an issue.
Peter, you guys were given a send-off yesterday by the fans. Just, you've not really seen much from him recently, so what was that like to see him again?
Yeah, it was on Saturday. They did an incredible job. All of us were extremely surprised. I was joking with Kerry Zavagnin. I told him, it's just like when we were playing here. That was a joke. No, it was tremendous. The fans were unbelievable. We couldn't believe it. And they were, they got off, and President of the Cauldron spoke to the team, and it was actually pretty neat. So I think all the guys really appreciate the fact that they really feel connected, that the fans back in Kansas City are, still with them, even though they can't be at the game.
Hey, Peter, when it comes to, your goal is obviously to stay there for 7 games to try to win the championship of the tournament. Is there any concern with some of you guys, maybe when it comes to cabin fever, maybe the way you have it set up with no interaction and not going into town if you're there for like a very long period of time? Any concern with you guys about that?
It definitely is it could become an issue. I know that when we go in preseason, usually 17 days is usually the time period where you're going to get a group of guys back to wherever they're from. You can stretch it to 21, but when you get past that, it starts to get a little bit crazy. This will be a little different scenario, I think, because of two things. One, it is being played like World Cup style. So when you do go away for an event like that, it's kind of the same time frame. Maybe not as contained as we are. But the other piece is that we'll try to do some things with the guys. There's some restaurants here and things like that we can do so that we break up the monotony of just, being in the same ballroom for the same buffet day in and day out. Try to go to, a couple of restaurants here and there. And I'm sure we'll figure out some other things as we go along.
Any final questions from the group?
Peter, quick question in regards to the other matches. Are you able to watch? What's your interest level in watching the other matches? Or are you just uber focused on your guys right now?
We are able to. They've reduced the number of people that can go to like scout from your team. So it used to be 2, now it's 1. But the other good thing is all the games are on TV, so we could watch them there as well in our room. I think it's going to come down to more what the logistics are, getting there, getting back, just how all that works. And we'll kind of assess that after probably the first set of games. We'll probably try and watch something and see how it works, and then we'll go from there.
Coach, with just 2 of your players left behind and all of the challenges that you could have faced with players coming back and training and risking injury, how confident are you in the depth of your team going into this tournament should everyone stay healthy, whether that's with COVID and then physically as well?
The primary objective was to try to get the guys as fit as possible. I think we've done that. We also have done that, relatively injury-free. It's now trying to make sure that we start the first game fully fit, up until this point. And really our focus is going to be the 3 games because they're what count to our league. Be nice to, win the tournament, but first objective is to try to win the first 3 because that's going to count towards our competition. I think that all the guys have been training really well, and I think that every guy that we brought is available for the roster right now. And I can't say that, if we would have been in a normal season at this time of the year, I'm not sure if I'd only have 2 players out at this point. So we're actually in a pretty good place starting off this tournament.
Hey, Peter, can I get just your observations of the restart in Europe and any lessons from, play over there that you can apply to the restart here?
I think it was very evident that a lot of those teams weren't sharp. And I'm talking about more from a soccer point of view than fitness. So they weren't sharp in their game. For us, it's been trying to get the guys back into our model of play as quick as possible. And that is we've tried to play a lot of games, and I don't mean just 11v11, but a lot of small-sided games as well, to try to get the guys sharp as possible. And then the other thing is that you can see that there is, without the crowd there is this, there was a little bit of a lack of intensity in some of the games, and it's something that we're going to have to artificially manufacture for each game. And it's probably going to be different for each one. First one will have a little excitement. I think for a lot of the teams, I think that first 10, 15, 20 minutes of the first game that they play is going to be interesting because I think teams are going to have to manage that because it depends on how fast they come out. That could send sort of the message of the way the rest of the game is going to go thereafter because you could really tire yourself out depending on how hot it is. We're just going to have to be really smart on our end to deal with that and be patient to realize the game's 90 minutes.
Hey, Peter, real quick, how is the testing going on in Orlando? Is it just, did they have it there and then they give you the results 2 days later, or how's that working for you guys down there?
So we tested last night when we got in, somewhere around 6:30. The process was actually very quick, and I was expecting not to find out for all of our guys until later today. And prior to 8 a.m. this morning, we had all our tests back and everybody was negative. So it was process was really good. It was the results came back quickly, and it's good that all through this time period since we started, since we started individual workouts, we've had nothing but negative tests, and hopefully we can keep that streak going.
And everything's done on, like, is the results and everything that is done on site, or is it on an off location? Or
I do not think that the actual instrument testing of the samples is done on site. I think it's off site.
Hey, Coach. I'm not sure if you've answered this already, and apologies if you have, but can you talk a little bit about Felipe Gutierrez's absence for this tournament, and how do you plan to replicate a lot of the volume and characteristics that he brings onto the field?
Yeah, look, anytime any player on the roster is not around, it causes a ripple effect into the team for sure. Felipe is an important player for the team, like they all are. He's somebody that has certain qualities that is hard for others to replicate. At the same time, I've said this before, that as much as Felipe will be missed, we have other players that can step into that position and do well. So I feel very confident not only with some of the acquisitions that we made, but some of the homegrown guys that we have coming up. They've really progressed in this, whatever you want to call it, COVID time. In the time that's been off for the team, they've really progressed. And so I foresee if there's the way these games will go, I foresee a lot of these guys getting a lot of time, and so we'll have to manage without him because he's out for the entire season. We got more than enough, I think, in the team to be able to cover for it.
Peter, what's your measure of success for the tournament? Obviously, you want to win it all, but let's say you pick up 79 points in the group stage and losing the quarters. Will you be going home happy still because you've got those points for the league?
Yeah, as I said to you before, my first objective is to win all 3 games. That's the big thing. Obviously, I'm shooting for the moon on that because obviously we're playing very tough opponents. But it would be great to get 3 wins. So, but we have our first game. We have to take that one, and we'll kind of make. The difficulty, I've said this before, is you can have great plans, but you're going to have to really make your assessment and inventory after the first game and see where your team is, and then we'll kind of take the next step from there. So we know we got a really tough opponent in Minnesota. They're playing very well in the beginning of this year, and so we're just going to have to make sure that we're ready, and defensively we're going to have to be very tough because they can go forward really well.
Peter, thank you very much for your time this morning. A couple quick notes from media. Peter will be available tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Central as part of his Major League Soccer's Media Day with head coaches from around the league. We'll also be available at 10 a.m. on Friday morning as part of our rhythm of interviews with coaches and players on Match Day -2. We also have sound bites with Peter and our equipment manager, Mike Flaherty, that we recorded on arrival last night. Those are available via Imagen, a content management system that Major League Soccer is using for the tournament. Reach out to me for details on those. Thanks so much. Everybody take care.
Thanks.
Thank you.